pressing your phone. Why? Are they paying you?
They are, Oma.
Eh?
The more I use my MTN, the more points I get. And I can use those points to get airtime, data, and even discounts at shops and restaurants.
Hey, so that is why all of you are always pressing your phones. And you won't tell us, so that we too we can enjoy some.
Oh, ma.
There's always more to enjoy with MTN Rewards. Just keep talking, testing, and browsing all day, every day to collect your points and use it to redeem amazing offers and discounted freebies right away. There's so much available for you. So dial *550# and get your reward today. Let's go everywhere you go.
Kweku, have you heard what they are doing on MTN?
Good afternoon, Ghana. It's 12 o'clock. Time to reach for mobile water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM, hits 103.9 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. We're also live in all 16 regions of Ghana via various affiliates, live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, Minority in Parliament charges government to use the NPP model of one constituency, one ambulance, and purchase new fire tenders for districts across the country after rampant fire outbreaks begin to stretch the fire service.
There was a point in time where we didn't even have enough ambulances. Due to government efforts, we were able to procure enough ambulances. So in the same way, we have to take action and consciously get budgetary allocation for the fire service.
Meanwhile, firefighters investigating yesterday's fire claim the life of a 4-month-old baby said their preliminary findings suggest the child's parents were unable to save her because they were heavily intoxicated.
The information that we've gathered, which we are yet to substantiate after the investigations, it points to the fact that the mother of the burnt child was quite negligent.
Well, we'll also bring you an update on the Kantamanto fire which ravaged the entire market last month.
I have a shop here. You can go there and see right now. All is burnt. Not me alone. All of us here, our goods are burnt. We have seen that they have come to donate something. We have not received anything.
Also coming up this afternoon, President Mahama promises revival of the oil and gas sector as he assures residents of the western region of renewed growth.
Our team has held discussions with our partners in the oil and gas industry, and you'll soon witness a revival of the oil and gas industry here in the western region.
And also, Ablekuma North constituents call for restraint as both Irabna Auburn and Akria Free erect billboards claiming victory when the EC is yet to declare final results of the parliamentary election.
Any Samarini, and Bissamarini, as in the Crabano, youth in peace. Our Ablekuma North. Peace, pa, and see your best running is almost time. Yendi crab and we are to thank you. Ablekuma constituency, we say thank you.
Well, we'll bring you details of that in sports.
Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko are set to present a joint position paper proposing drastic reforms to the Ghana Premier League.
These and more with me, Maame, Nyamekye, Thompson. Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Please stay with us. I will start from Parliament. The minority is charging government to adopt the NPP special initiative of purchasing ambulances for all constituencies across the country and do same for the fire service. The service has complained about faulty fire tenders with so many parts of the country without any working, hampering its efforts to deal with recent fire outbreaks. We'll hear from the minority shortly. First, though, a focus on some of the recent fires. Yesterday, fire swept through a 13-bedroom house in Ofoikrom community in the Ashanti region. Clinton Yeboah reports.
There was no casualty in the latest fire incident in the Ashanti region. Eyewitnesses described how the community quickly mobilized to contain the blaze before professional help arrived.
afei ɛna area boys ɛne amafafro nipa bebree ɛbɛboae yɛtutu ha no mu bule ne nyina nsuo edugu ansa na fire service for ɛbɛduru ase deɛ.
We had a lot of people helping before the fire service arrived. The fire really brought down all the structures. It nearly extended to the next house. For now, I can say everything in the house is gone. We were fortunate that the kids here had gone to school at the time the fire started. The incident has left victims stranded. Madam Asana, whose sister was affected, said they could not pick a single item from the room. They couldn't pick anything from their rooms. It's painful for a family to lose their fortune in a single day. How are they going to survive? The fire service brought the fire under control within 2 hours and has launched investigation into the cause of the fire. The Ashanti region has already recorded 183 fire cases since the beginning of 2025. Major markets, including Kejetia Market, Asafo Market and Kwadasu Wood Market, are the most impacted. For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yabwa.
Well, at Kissiman near Achimota in Accra, a 4-month-old baby was burnt to death when fire ravaged the slum community.
It's not easy for us, but it is in God's will for this to happen. Early this morning, a friend of mine called to ask about my whereabouts. She then proceeded to tell me to rush to my sister's residence, saying that my sister's child had been burned in the kiosk. I rushed there only to find out it was true. The child was burned beyond recognition. We have collected the remains and are preparing for burial.
Well, just this morning, there's been another massive fire at Islam near a community in La Paz New Market. In Parliament, the minority have been addressing journalists on the issue. NPP MP for Forikrum Mike Adu explained that an initiative to equip every district with a working fire tender will put the fire service in readiness to deal with the many outbreaks in the country.
I think, I believe we are doing a lot of lip service. We are doing a lot of lip service because if you look at the damage to our environment, you go to places and you see the way we burn things. People, you live next door and your neighbor is burning things into the atmosphere without consent to the neighborhood, without consent to the environment. You visit places and people still engage in bushfire burning. You go to villages and people want to go and catch game, and then they will still burn the forest. Devastation being caused by galamsey, devastation being caused by farming, our grasslands being devastated by fire, and so on. And then when you come to our communities, I feel some of these climate extremes that are going on as a country, we've not put so much budget to it. How do we equip the National Disaster Management Organizations like NADMO? How do we equip the fire service? How many fire tenders are in the country? I know we are developing as a nation. There was a point in time where we didn't even have enough ambulances. Due to government efforts, we were able to procure enough ambulances. So in the same way, we have to take action and consciously get budgetary allocation for the fire service.
Well, the minority also does not believe successive governments have done enough to deal with fire outbreaks and other such, market fires and other such outbreaks across the country.
These things are going against the nation, and it counts into billions of cedis when you quantify everything together. So today's statement was to stress on the point. I've seen from the Hansa that a lot of statements have been made on fire. But we've gotten to the point that as Parliament, as a government, as a country, we need to look at the holistic approach that can nip it in the bud once and for all. For instance, our markets. Are we going to put fire tenders close by? Are we going to create special fire hydrants that will supply water to the market so that in case there is a fire outbreak, the fire service can get easy access to water to be able to quench the fire so that the losses will be minimal or reduced? For instance, what are we going to do about insurance for some of these our markets so that when there is fire outbreak, people will not lose everything altogether?
Well, you heard the MP for Forikrum, Mike Ado. We'll take you to Parliament for more on business there shortly. But before that, let's hear from the fire service. Desmond Aka is head of public relations there and joins us on the line. We're grateful for your time on the Midday News. Well, how are you managing with the little to no equipment at the fire service?
Well, Maame, good afternoon to you and your cherished listeners and viewers as well. For us, we are ever committed to respond to any emergency call, be it fire or related life-threatening emergency. And for that much, we are willing to make do with what we have.
Mr. Aka, please reposition yourself. Your line is tripping so that we can hear you well, and also project your voice a little bit more.
Right. I said good afternoon to you and your cherished listeners. For us, we are ever committed to serve the good people of Ghana.
Right.
With the limited resources that we have. Mm-hmm. We cannot say that we have all what it takes to be able to deliver on our mandate. Over the years, it made a call that fire engines are overaged. Therefore, they need to be replaced, of which government has assured us that the assurance has not become fruitful enough or yet. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we would want to see action from especially the new minister for the interior, who just assured us during his vetting that he understands our situation, and therefore would do whatever it takes for us to be adequately equipped.
Well, Mr. Aka, we are well aware of the situation with equipment, but how do you, when incidents happen, how are you able to manage the situation when there's no fire tender and other equipment that are supposed to be used to douse the fire?
Well, when you see, the issue has always been our commitment. Had it not been our commitment, it would be very difficult for us to contain some of these fires that we are recording, especially around this time of year. If you look at where we are struggling, it's where we have our tenders that have been broken down. You know, management is also not sitting down aloof. Anytime they break down, they use our limited resources to put them back. So when we have places where we don't have stations or functional tenders there, then it means that the nearby fire engine, which would also have to travel a certain distance to be able to get there. And that is where we are having the challenge. And therefore, in most cases, we are not able to make it within the international standard response time of 5 minutes. So if you check this morning's fire at La Paz, it took us barely 12 minutes to get there. And when we got there, a lot of damage had been caused already, and we lost virtually about 5 of the structures, the wooden structures to this fire. If you check what happened yesterday around Kisiman Junction, we also got there around 12 minutes, and we could barely save the affected wooden structures that were gutted by the fire. So, in as much as we are committed to serve, if we don't have the functional tenders closer to the community, it means that we have to travel much more distances, and that will take more than 5 minutes for us to get there. And the consequences are dire.
Right.
But notwithstanding, we are ever ready to respond to every emergency number concern.
Well, Mr. Aka, where there are some solutions coming in, especially from the minority, proposing that there should be a one district, one fire tender for your service. Also, President Mahama has indicated that your personnel should be positioned at various markets to ensure that issues of arson is limited or kept. What do you think about these proposals?
Well, the proposal is a good call, especially coming from Parliament. But I think a lot more has to be done. We don't just need one district, one fire tender. I mean, the situation now demands that, depending on the economic activities and then the development of the area. In some areas deserve even 8 fire stations with 3 or more functional fire engines. We are not just talking about the water tenders. We are also looking at water tankers, multi-purpose fire engines, and then as well as hydraulic platform, and as well as rapid intervention vehicles that would help us, depending on the fire type or the emergency type, rescue vans,
right,
and a whole lot.
Right.
So that once we have all these things closer to us, more stations are built in our communities so as to reduce the response time.
Right. Thank you so much. Desmond Aka is head of public relations at the Ghana National Fire Service. Well, let's head to Parliament now, where my colleague Kweku Asante is. Kweku, thanks for joining us. I mean, the dispute between the minority and the committee investigating the chaos that happened the last time, has it been resolved?
Maame, our understanding is that there are still talks ongoing behind the scenes to try and resolve the challenge that led to the abrupt suspension of the committee's work. The committee has meanwhile resolved that from tomorrow it will do its work irrespective of the minority stance to participate in the work of the committee. We know that yesterday, Alexander Afenyo-Martin did direct his members on the committee, 2 of them, Kwame Anyimedu Entry, as well as Abdul Siasari, to withdraw from the committee, as well as directing other NPP MPs not to testify. That brought the committee's work to its knees, and we expect that the committee will resume tomorrow with or without the NPP MPs, and with or without the NPP MPs also coming forward to testify. The committee says they would have offered any NPP MP the right to be heard, and if they do not wish to exercise that right, they will present their report based on what they are able to find and present same to the Speaker of Parliament and the House as soon as the 10 days given expires.
Well, what other activities are there today in the House?
The House hasn't yet resumed, but we expect that the committees of Parliament will be put together. Since the 9th Parliament was sworn in, they haven't put together all the standing and select committees, with the exception of the Appointment Committee, Business Committee, as well as the Selection Committee. And so the minority have been making the point about the fact that the delay in setting up this committee is limiting them in the NDP and the ability to keep the government on its toes, and they expect that these committees will be set up. According to the majority, they are ready with their numbers, they are ready with their members, and they're going to meet with the NPP side and then firm up the various select and standing committees.
Right, Kweku Asante, thank you very much, is our parliamentary correspondent. Away from Parliament, President John Mahama says since assuming office, his administration has taken urgent measures to revitalize Ghana's oil and gas industry, which according to him has been in decline over the past 8 years. Speaking during a thank you visit to the Western region, he said that his government has engaged in discussions with key stakeholders in that sector. As a result, the Western region will soon witness a revival of the industry. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba reports.
Hundreds of Takoradi residents gathered at the stalled Takoradi Market Circle project to welcome President Mahama as he toured the facility. When completed, the new Market Circle would have 2,408 stores, 33 restaurants and food courts, visitors car park, offices, a police and fire station and a post office. President Mahama promised the people government will meet the contractor on Friday. He said, "We are here to inspect and assess the status of the project. We'll return to Accra on Friday. We'll meet the contractor and Minister of Finance to discuss how to complete the Takoradi Market Circle redevelopment project." President Mahama then moved to the Sekondi Methodist School Park to officially say thank you to residents of the Western region for voting for the NDC.
Our team has held discussions with our partners in the oil and gas industry, and you'll soon witness a revival of the oil and gas industry here in the Western region.
He announced that new strategies to combat illegal mining will go beyond relying solely on security agencies.
We're not going to make it the responsibility of only the security agencies. We're going to involve the chiefs and the young people in the communities to help to protect your own lands, your forests, and your water bodies. We'll take urgent steps to halt mining activities in our forest reserves and on our rivers.
He says government will soon present an amendment to Parliament for the Public Holidays Act to restore July 1 as a holiday and also for an additional Eid holiday to fulfill his promise to Muslims.
Well, we understand that the president is heading to the central region. We'll bring you details of that in subsequent bulletins. Now, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Echiahene has blamed the ruling New Patriotic Party squarely for Ghana's current economic challenges. He also dismissed the minority's calls for former President Mahama to prosecute the acting governor of the Bank of Ghana as a mere noise, arguing that such demands overlook the broader systemic issues that have contributed to the country's financial struggles. The minority in Parliament strongly criticized President Mahama for allowing the discontinuation of criminal charges against Dr. Johnson Esiama, the acting governor of the Bank of Ghana. According to MP for Tano North, Dr. Gideon Boakon, the decision to discontinue the case could have far-reaching economic and political consequences for Ghana.
President Mahama should allow the charges against Dr. Esiama to stand, even as he carries his duties as a governor when he is finally approved. The action by the president gives us cause to believe that Dr. Esiama is not clean. This silly attempt to discontinue the proceedings of the criminal charges against Dr. Esiama is the more reason why we think he, Dr. Esiama, a potential criminal convict, should not be heading an important and sensitive office as the governor of the central bank. It is even more crucial at a point where Ghana is under an IMF program and requires absolute credibility in our dealings with the IMF.
Well, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Echiahene says the NPP has no moral right to criticize the president's decision, insisting the call is just noise.
Let us not politicize it, because it is we have been in a bad situation. Let me make it clear. Those who are saying that, who brought us to this position? Who brought us to this position? A country is owing 66 billion. You have restructured only 45 billion. Then instead of you keeping quiet to let us see how we'll go around it, people are just making noise. I call it noise. The president said, I have nominated him. And the former governor has gone to tell the president that I'm exiting. Do we mean that we leave the seat with nobody there? The country is not in a good position.
Well, Dr. Echiahene also called for immediate strategies to address the challenges facing the banking sector.
We have been dealing with non-performing. From 2014 up to as I speak to you, Ghana non-performing is way out of hand, the whole West Africa.
Non-performing loans.
Non-performing loans. It's out of way. And how do you do? The banks, especially the local banks or the Ghanaian domestic banks or the what we call the local bank,
right,
indigenous bank. The little you write, the little you talk about them, the better. They only exist on paper. Most of them exist on paper. The assets are gone because they've gone to participate in government contract. Government is owing 20 billion to contractors, 15 billion to road fund. And then energy minister just said that Ghana energy debt is $3 billion.
Well, you're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll go on a break. We'll return with sports. And later, former Hajj Board welcomes investigations into the $5 million outstanding debts as pledged by the new board, but insists They also inherited significant debts from the NDC-led board in 2016.
Wonderful move if such an investigation is done. In the light of fluctuations in the value of our cedi against the dollar, all these things have gone to increase the cost.
Where did I? Now I don't know many I just saw. Obiang, what's your chroma? And to want to say petrol software energizing dreams for motion. Hey boy.
Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you, oh.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
From the day that I met you, girl, I knew that your love would be.
Another season of love is here, and we are living the experience in a special way.
Happy Valentine's to all you lovers out there.
Let's try something new, shall we?
This year, prove to the world that you're the 21st century William Shakespeare. Enjoy FM's My Endless Love Valentine promo.
Here is what you have to do. Write a captivating half-page poem about your lover, telling the world how much you love him or her and the wonderful qualities that make them the most special person in the world. The poem must end with my endless love.
Next, record a video of you reading out the poem to your lover with all the emotions you can employ and send the recording to us via WhatsApp on 055-1111-997. Go ahead and also post it on social media
and tag us at Joy 99.7 FM. Remember to send us a beautiful photo of you and your partner and the title of your favorite love song.
10 lucky couples with the most captivating entries will be treated to a special dinner, music, dance, and other beautiful activities at the plush Labadi Beach Hotel on Valentine's Day. There's also a night stay up for grabs by one of the 10 lucky couples. Entries close on the 7th of February 2025.
Do not miss it.
Well, welcome back to the Midday News. We have sports. Thank you.
Yes, Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Oak, they have indicated their intention to submit a position paper to the Ghana Football Association calling for enhanced security measures in the Ghana Premier League. This was contained in a joint statement released by the two clubs this morning following the recent violence that led to the death of a Kotoko fan popularly known as Nana Pole. Now, Victor Achutamaklo of Joy Sports is at the Ghana Football Association Secretariat, where the association is holding a stakeholder engagement with the clubs.
Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko will present a joint position paper to the Ghana Football Association and the remaining 16 Premier League clubs on a number of issues. Priority, we're told, will be given to the relaxed enforcement of the licensing regulations and its subsequent result in the poor match day security protocols. The impact of Francis Frimpong's murder on their respective brands and the value they command is also expected to be captured in the joint paper that they'll present today. It is also expected that the two clubs will cash in on what is clearly an auspicious moment to demand changes to the revenue distribution formula for future sponsorship deals with the new Star Times television broadcast deal in mind.
That's Victor Achutamaklo there, bringing an end to sports.
Thank you. Now, residents of Ablekuma North constituency are calling for restraint as both Irabna Orbin and Ikwe Friye have erected billboards claiming victory. The Electoral Commission has yet to declare final results of the election after several failed attempts to conclude the coalition process, which had been marred by violence. But before the EC could proceed any further, both candidates have erected billboards thanking constituents for electing them. James Aveji reports.
While the EC is looking for ways to resolve the impasse, the NDC's Irabna Orbin and the NPP's Ikwe Friye are both claiming victory, saying thank you to voters for electing them. In the middle of this busy intersection, Irabna's billboard stood side by side Ikwe Friye and Dr. Baumier's campaign billboard with the inscription, "Thank you, Ablekuma North constituency. building Ablikuma North together. Just 200 meters away from this footbridge overseeing the highway, Ekwe also erect her own billboard side by side, Irabna and John Mahama's campaign billboard with the inscription, Ablikuma North constituency, I am grateful. Ekwe MP-elect Ablikuma North. Beyond these billboards, the two are currently on a thank you tour.
NDC is claiming victory, and the NPP is also claiming victory. Meanwhile, the final result is not declared. We, the youth, want peace, so we appeal to them to exercise restraint. They are all saying thank you to voters when there is no declaration. We want them to wait for the EC so that there will be peace.
Well, it's been almost 3 weeks since the last suspension, and we've been digging around the EC on what's delaying them. James Aveji is with me in studio. James, what have you been finding out?
Well, unfortunately, the EC itself doesn't seem to be clear on when they will, continue this coalition process. They are looking forward to getting a security clearance from the Ghana Police Service in view of the level of chaos and distractions we saw in the last coalition process. But it is unclear when this particular clearance will come for the EC to proceed on this matter.
Thank you so much, James. And that's how we end this edition of the Midday News. Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring you MNJ, but Pastor Mensa Audible is up next with Living Word. I am Amisi Nyamekye Thompson.
Joy 99.7 FM.